Pete Holloway. I'm a Senior Vice President with Hazlett Bird & Watson, where I'm a financial advisor, and I'm also a certified financial planner. And as always, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to On Money. Today's guest is Angie Hill. She's the president of the West Liberty University Foundation. She's a Wheeling native, went to high school at Wheeling Central, and got a degree in history and French from Wheeling University. She's currently working on a master's in public administration from Villanova. Angie, thank you for being with us. Could you give us the history of the West Liberty Foundation?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Pete, for having me today. It's my pleasure to be here. So the West Liberty University Foundation was actually founded in the 60s, 1964 is our charter, as a 501c3 nonprofit organization. That's mission is to support West Liberty University in the way of private resources, and to also support our students. But the interesting thing about the foundation's history is, as a state institution, West Liberty University did not have an active private fundraising effort really until the early 90s, when a development function was established by Dr. Clyde Campbell at the time. And the first development director was hired on at the university and worked also hand in hand with the foundation. So interestingly, we've been around for a long time, but we're sort of young in our fundraising story. And, that is because the need has grown over time due to the shifts in the state funding and to public education and the state appropriation. So the decline in that appropriation.
How about some numbers? What's the size of the foundation in dollars, and approximately how much was given out in 2021, just so our audience can understand the numbers?
Sure. So currently we have about $26 million in total assets. We've grown significantly over the past 5 years, and somewhat due to investment. We have had some really good investment years, and then also due to fundraising. Those are our two growth mechanisms, because we do manage a portion of our assets is an endowment for the university. Last fiscal year 21, the foundation dispersed $2 million in total. And so our disbursement is based somewhat on our endowment. We have a spending policy that guides us. Right now, we're at a 4% spend of the endowment. But then also what sort of generates that annual spend is the current projects we're working on. So we have a number of immediate dollars coming in. So our fundraising year somewhat also will align with our disbursement. So, of our disbursements last year, the majority was scholarships. So scholarships still tend to be sort of the heart of what we do. They both impact students directly and impact the institution's bottom line, because tuition is the largest portion of the institution's operating budget. We also do a number of other things that we can talk a little bit more about when we get into discussion of projects and things, but scholarships still continues to be sort of the biggest part of the pie for us.
That's great. Now, in terms of fundraising, you've got a big day coming up next week. We're recording this on April 1st. Tell us a little about that.
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing that up. So we have on April 6th, our annual Day of Giving event. And the Day of Giving is in its 6th year. It is an event that I describe it as a partnership with our campus community, because we, the foundation, we work with every single person on campus as much as we can to make this thing as successful through sort of networking in the web of networking through each individual that's involved. So we have what we call micro campaigns that are under the full umbrella for the Day of Giving, and each area, athletically and academically, that wants to participate has their own micro campaign. And they are empowered with tools that we provide as far as matching donors. And we also provide other incentives And then we train them on how, they can help support their own cause. And we give them some best practices and some things that have worked for other micro campaigns, and then work with them to come up with strategies to basically reach their base. So this is all about growing through the base building activities. And what we've seen is a really good result, especially because donors can get on and give to specific areas that they have an affinity or a passion for. So that's been really successful. We actually last year raised $200,000 on April 6th. And we do some lead up work. We secure the matching dollars. We secure some corporate sponsorships. This year, Rockspeed Development Group is our title sponsor. But and then we do start accepting pre-gifts as well leading up. But then April 6th is the big push. And at midnight on April 6th is the final, opportunity for donors to make a gift that day. So we're push all day long. We do a lot of social media. We have events throughout the day, and we're making phone calls. So it's just a really great event. We hope to surpass the $200,000 mark this year.
Good luck with that. That's great.
Thank you.
Let's go back to you said scholarship is the main direction the monies go. How do you determine, or what is the process for an individual to get a scholarship, and other areas? I'm just making this up. Let's suppose the theater department needs a new light, something like that, or the athletic department needs something for them. How do they apply for this, or how is the money allocated?
Okay, so scholarships is a little bit of its own process, because we work hand in hand with financial aid to disperse the scholarship money. So we have both restricted and unrestricted scholarships. The restricted scholarships are donor directed, and basically donors will come up with, their vision for how they want to support students. And we document that. If it's an endowed scholarship, we have an establishment of endowment document that guides the entire process. It spells out the criteria of the students that will be selected and the process that will be implemented to select those students. So we implement that hand in hand with financial aid. And in some cases, faculty members, coaches are involved as well. As far as the unrestricted scholarships, we've raised a number of unrestricted dollars that go to financial aid to basically be used to the discretion of financial aid to help students that need the most help, or award students that, maybe we need to put together a package to recruit them. Maybe they're high academic performers and we need to sweeten the deal to try to get them to West Liberty. So that's sort of how the scholarships work. As far as other projects, we do, your example was actually really good, because we do a lot of different capital improvement projects, renovation, equipment. We even do things for the various programs that help advance their areas, like, for example, faculty development opportunities, student travel, all kinds of things. So those things are administered a little bit differently. And what happens is it's a partnership. We have campus individuals that are called fund managers that help manage the funds. So we really depend on that relationship. So if it's the dental hygiene program fund, the director of dental hygiene helps direct how those funds are used. And then she basically submits, we have a lot of paper forms that need submitted because we are legally responsible to our donors to follow intent. And we want to make sure that's all well documented, well administered, so our donors will have the utmost confidence in what we're doing.
Could you give us a specific example or two of some programs that you have funded recently?
Yeah. So last year, let's see, we had several capital improvement projects. I mentioned we do a fair amount of work in that. A lot of times, those are based on needed updates for the university. Last year, we were involved in the weight room the athletic weight room project, which was a complete renovation of a current space, including equipment and build out of the space. And actually now it's called the Panhandle Performance Zone because one of our big donors was Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. They actually did a huge in-kind contribution for that project. We had several other major donors get involved to fully fund it, including Gary West and Bucky Koff. And the project was completed just recently and had its grand opening. And it's a state-of-the-art facility. It's, from what I understand, one of the best, maybe one of the best or the best in our conference for athletics. But that's one of the examples. You know, we do a lot of work with academics as well. In addition to scholarships, that tends to be, you know, heavy in scholarships on the academic side. But I can think of a fair number of like some academic related projects that we've done. I'm engaged right now in a project with the College of Sciences that is for our new speech and hearing and behavioral health clinics. So we are seeking funds to complete those spaces and basically support our new master's level programs in those areas, which is a great need in this state for those two services and health access to health care in those areas. So we're really excited about that project. And we actually just got news we were awarded a $50,000 grant for that project. So we're moving along with that as well.
That's great. Now, let's suppose someone wants to contribute. They would just go to send the check or contact the West Liberty University Foundation. And if they're doing that, does the money just go into one big pool of money, or can they direct it into a specific area?
Yes, so I'm so glad you asked that. So first off, I will say for Day of Giving on April 6th, go to wlufoundation.org, click on Day of Giving. We have the most incredible interactive landing page. I'm so excited about it. Our graphics people helped design it. Sam Wilson, I got to give a shout out to her. She designed this site. It is amazing and it's interactive. You hit on it, you'll get to see the numbers being updated. You'll get to see the leaderboards of all the micro campaigns and where they are, and then you can click on buttons to make gifts. For generally speaking, for donations throughout the fiscal year, you can also visit that same website, wlufoundation.org, or you can call us at our number 304-336-5635, or you can send a check. Now, to answer your other question, donors can designate any area that they would like to support on campus. They can designate a scholarship fund that's already established. They can talk to me about, you know, starting a new scholarship fund, or they can just designate, you know, the softball program if they choose to do so. If they do not designate the areas, it will go into our annual fund, which will support the greatest needs of campus. Not one dime of that money goes to any operational costs. We are fortunate at the West Liberty University Foundation to have enough endowment that we can basically, what we do is we have a fee, a 1.5% fee against the funds we manage long-term. And that generates our administrative and operating expense. So none of the outright gifts that are going toward the annual fund go to support the foundation and its operations.
There are named funds. This is the Joe Smith Fund to help whatever. What is the minimum on that? And so people can you put in a little bit and build up towards that number? How would that work?
Yes. So we have named endowed funds that are a minimum of a $25,000 contribution, but we do offer a temporary endowment option that you can build up to the $25,000 in 5 years. We will not disperse the funds until you hit the minimum endowed amount, which is the 25. And that's a good option for donors who are looking to incrementally grow a fund, but they want, maybe it's a seed for a legacy gift. They want their name on that fund and they want it to perpetuate in the future. So it's a great option. And I work with a lot of planned donors who will start to fund during their lifetime because they want to start to see the good work that they're doing, but maybe they want to start it incrementally. And that's a great option. So the temporary endowment option is one that we do all the time as well.
Another place you're looking for is for people to leave that in their will or make the university a beneficiary or a retirement plan. There are lots and lots of options out there, and I'm sure you're willing to work with them. Now, you have an annual report that you put out each year. Can people see that to see how the money's being spent?
Yeah.
I mean, can they see that on that website?
Yeah. I was just gonna, for visual purposes. So this is the Celebrating Our Legacy report that we publish every year. And we do that at late fall, like sort of before Christmas, but usually it hits the mail around December 1 range. That's usually our goal. And that discloses all of our financial information, as well as where we've dispersed funds in the previous year. So our financial statement, as well as our disbursement summary. And then also our donor honor roll. It includes stories about some highlight projects, some donors that we want to talk about, their stories, some students. So it's a really great piece to read if you want to get to know our organization and you want to gain a level of confidence in what we're doing. You can also access it on our website. If you go to wlufoundation.org and you go to About Us, you'll see where we have our financial reports, and we also have our audits on that same. So it's not just this piece. If you really want to dig down into our, some more financial data, and donors, I think, should be doing that to see, what we have, how we've managed the funds, and that we're a responsible nonprofit organization, and that we're solvent. That's important. So, so you can go to our website and view all of that information.
And of course, any contribution is tax deductible.
Yes, of course. Tax deductible, unless, it's something for like an event or something like that, where we have to take off something for goods and services. But otherwise, yes, completely tax deductible. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, and we have our FEIN number listed on our website as well, if that's ever, a donor needs to access that.
That's great. One more time, give us the website and your phone number.
Great. So it's wlufoundation.org. Phone number 304-336-5635.
Angie, I'd like to thank you for all your information today and for all the good work you've done for the university. Please keep it up.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. I'm Pete Holloway for Hazlett, Bird & Watson. We'll be seeing you next week. I hope you all have a great week.